Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast. Your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
While it is tempting to accept your diagnosis, Doc, we'd rather go save the world. Later, skaters.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Marvel Monday here on the Stuff and Things podcast. I am Sam, talking to you about Moon Knight, the finale, episode 6, and joining me is my partner in crime, it's Stefan.
It's the final Moon Knight.
Very nice.
But there was three of them.
Well,
yeah.
Funnily enough, you say there's three of them. This show originally was going to be three of us. My friend Kaylee was going to join us. Unfortunately, Kaylee's been struck down by the dreaded COVID. Get well soon, Kaylee. So it is just me and you. So I feel bad for all the people. It was going to be fun. I kind of guessed we'd get the 3 reveal at the end when we kept going and it kept going and it never happened. So I thought, having 3 of us on the final podcast is going to be my little Easter egg joke, and then it didn't work out. So
No, and I feel bad. Obviously, with COVID not being fun, I am not going to take the mickey out of this show. I'm not going to do it. I feel bad that she's ill. There'll be no taking of mickeys.
No, well done. Very proud of you. We have a lot to get through, so we're going to dive straight in. We're talking Moon Knight episode 6, the series finale. We'll talk about that. And the title of the episode was
Gods and Monsters. And no, we are not dropping spoilers to Doctor Strange. This is purely Moon Knight.
Yeah. Is there a particular reason why you said that then?
Yeah, monsters and gods and all, I just wanted to make sure everyone knows. I know the movie is out, but this is a safe space.
Yes.
Until next week when we do a Doctor Strange podcast, this is a safe space. Do not panic. No spoilers here.
Yeah. See, I didn't even think to say that.
I just thought I'd get in there early, just in case, because I know we are quite good at going off in a tangent one way or another. So I'm just letting people know to begin with.
That is not a tangent that shall be explored.
We will stay spoiler free.
Yes. So it's less about you saying it, more like you're telling me not to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of like,
okay, just making sure.
Yeah, just telling me. Okay, fair enough. The episode is titled Gods and Monsters. It is episode 6, and I did say season finale, series finale. There's a lot of debate over this.
Which one is it? We don't know. Marvel, sneaky. Did you see their tweet thing that they posted, deleted and posted? And the world went crazy.
Well, they called it a series finale, and then they deleted it and changed it to season finale.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure where people are on that, but let's talk about the facts that are known.
Okay.
1, Oscar Isaac signed up to do a 6-episode series as Moon Knight. Nothing in the public domain to say he's signed a different deal or anything like that.
This surprises me. That does surprise me.
So that's one thing that is known and kind of confirmed, and that's out there. The other thing is that the show itself has been entered for award season in limited run category, which basically means it's 6 and done. So think Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan, from day one it was announced, you're going to get a 6-episode series of Obi-Wan. That's it. It's literally done.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Which I still think people are going to go insane for.
Yeah, I think
like, people are going to want more. They're not going to be happy with just...
Yeah, well,
with that.
We'll see. But yeah, so with Moon Knight, that was kind of how it was set up, and we've had a mixed bag in that regard from Marvel with the Disney Plus shows. So
I've enjoyed them all. I've got to be honest, I've enjoyed all of the things they've done so far, and each one of the shows has finished, and with all of them, I've wanted more. So they've done a very good job of it.
I meant mixed bag in terms of not quality, but in terms of some season 2.
That's it. Yeah, no, I was literally about to say, like, if you go from the start of it, so WandaVision, she's gone off and she's carried on in the MCU movies.
Yeah.
We then had Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Which in essence was telling us the story of Falcon becoming Captain America.
Yeah.
So like a continuation of the Avengers saga and setting up the next, it would appear to be setting up the next Captain America film starring.
Exactly, yeah. Then we had the Loki series, and at the end, Loki will return.
Yeah.
It gave us a very obvious, second season, awesome.
Yeah. Question for you on that. So sorry, I know we're diving in here. It was a thing about Tom Hiddleston, and so a lot of people talking about how much he's enjoyed playing Loki and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this kind of relates to Moon Knight because he signed up to do the series of Loki.
Yeah.
He signed up to do it, and the original idea was 10 episodes. 10 episodes between 30 and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
COVID happened. We all know that lots of shows got edited, messed around, and the series count, episode count changed, costs, etc. Do you think that he loved... Because he did this interview recently where he was like, oh... someone else playing Loki. Nope, not on my watch.
Yeah, he just loves playing the character.
Yeah, and I kind of get the impression that if you do the films, you're in and out doing bits and pieces, but a series, you must have, it must be a bigger process, a longer process. You're actually with the people a little bit more. I wonder if perhaps he loved it so much it was kind of like halfway through, kind of rang the agent and went, "Yeah, tell him I'll do more."
Yeah, you know what? Actually, this is good. I like this.
Yeah, because but anyway, so I did wonder about it. Sorry, mate. So you said Loki, which obviously set up
season 2 of Loki, and then we had What If?
Yeah.
Which they have announced is kind of canon.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I guess at least half of it, I'd say, is going to be kind of going forward.
Yeah.
What bits of it will come forward, we don't know, but we kind of assume that bits from that series are going to go on to other shows, be it Disney Plus or movies.
The fact they've confirmed this canon, I think we can perhaps expect. And you think about the fact that Doctor Strange in the multiverse, that obviously lends itself to potential, even if it's just kind of cameos from the What If series. Like, oh, look, that's so-and-so. And if you watch the animated series, I personally would love to see the version of Thanos that was in the What If series.
Oh, the bartender Could you
imagine them getting Josh Brolin in just to do that version?
I think like he would as well. He would come and do it, but yeah.
I get the impression he would, yeah. Yeah, but anyway, sorry. So that's definitely lends itself to that. The Quantum Mania, stuff like that. Even Loki, you could have crossovers for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. I interrupted you again.
What If, Loki, and then it was Moon Knight. Have I missed one? I haven't, have I?
Ooh. How could you? You missed my beautiful Hawkeye.
Oh, of course, Hawkeye. Yes, sorry. No, you're right.
Oh,
damn, sorry, Hawkeye.
Everyone forgets Hawkeye, and yet he is Mr. Reliable.
He has never lost a battle.
No. You want to win? Hawkeye needs to be on your side.
Yeah, no, damn, sorry. Yep, that's my bad. And I actually love that series as well, so that's even worse.
Kate Bishop.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh man, how did I forget that?
Yeah, it's okay. I'll edit it to make you sound even more stupid.
Oh, that's awful. Like that was a really good show as well, and I've just completely.
And it was literally the most recent. Before...
And I was sitting there going, there was a gap. What was in it? Oh man. Okay,
it's cool, and it's good.
Oh dear. Why give me a mouth and a platform to do podcasts if I'm this dumb and forget things? Like, seriously, I have a platform to make myself sound good.
Yeah.
I forget things.
Yeah. So, but you're right. Everything's kind of set up because although Hawkeye, for example, doesn't have a season 2, we do know that the characters are going to progress. So we know that Echo gets a season 2. So in essence, Hawkeye is continuing, but it's called something else. Like, these characters are going to continue and the story's focus, etc., is going to change. I think Clint Barton as a character perhaps has handed over the bow now. I think
I can see him doing one more appearance just to kind of confirm it, I think.
Yeah.
But what that'll be, movie or show, I don't know. But then that brings us to Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And the way the show ends, the very end...
Yeah.
The very end part of it. And I'm like, well, that seems to lead to something, but then he's only signed on for this show.
Yeah.
So that confuses me.
Well, here's the other thing that I'll say is a lot of actors have said recently, the lady who plays Wanda Maximoff, for example, Elizabeth Olsen?
Yeah.
Sorry, just so many Olsens, I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah, Mary Kate. Yeah. Yeah, so Elizabeth Olsen said that she has always signed a deal for the next project, and at the end of the project they kind of say to her, okay, great, we loved you, would you like to do this? And she's kind of like, yep.
Would I like to do more as this awesome character? Yes, I would. Thank you.
You get the impression she really likes that. She was clearly a comic book fan, and clearly a fan of Wanda/Scarlet Witch, because you see her talk and she goes on about stuff, and you can see the interviewers are kind of like, whoa. Okay.
Well, she did the interview after Age of Ultron, didn't she?
Yeah, basically saying she wanted to do House of M.
Yeah, I would really love to do the fake children, and everyone's telling her, and like, no, that's too dark for the MCU.
Yeah, way
6
too dark.
years later,
WandaVision is born. Yeah. So focusing in on this episode, then, I think the end of episode 5. One of the things I saw online more than anything else was, no way have they killed off Stephen. Like, how? No way. No way could that possibly be. No, that cannot be the end of Stephen. So this episode opens with, a lot going on, but Mark, in essence, goes back for Stephen, leaving the Field of Reeds. When he goes back for him, I don't know about you, but I got kids, a kid, and she grew up, she watched the film Frozen.
Yeah.
And there's this moment where one character freezes and the other character kind of, through love and sacrifice thaws the other character.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
Were you getting Anna and Elsa vibes coming through?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's all owned by Disney, isn't it?
Yeah, ruined it for me is not the right word, but just kind of, like when you get something dumb in your head.
Yep.
And it's like, I now can't look at that scene and feel the emotion of it, because I'm like, let it go. Yeah, so, but there is this moment where we know about the scales and the balancing, etc., and we had the two hearts, one for Stephen, one for Mark, and then Mark shows up with that heart in his hand, and it combines, and basically, they are one person, and finally they are balanced as both of them.
Yep.
And I think Towerette describes Osiris as a big softie, which I was kind of like, really? That's kind of not a term I'd have thought for him, but Osiris does see this and does think, okay, guys, you can go back.
And opens the door for them, but only after she comes through with the boat and takes away the sandstorm. Awesome.
That was fun. I mean, the Towerette kind of character was visually fun, but also the voice actress doing it had clearly some skills.
Yeah, I think, actually, looking back now, I think we desperately needed that character, purely because... Otherwise, those last episodes would have been dark.
Very dark. Yeah.
You take out that little bit of comic relief from it, and all of a sudden you're sitting there going, this is really wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It is a very... to be honest with you, it's still a very dark show. And there's elements... There's one key element in this episode, which we'll come to, is kind of like, whoa. Very unique. But yeah, so we see in the real world, or in the world, the waking world, Harrow has now released Ammit. He took the stone off of dead Mark's body, dead at that point.
Yep.
And he holds it up to all his followers who bow and kneel, and he smashes it, and out comes this giant crocodile goddess.
See, just pausing for a second there.
Yeah.
I was watching this, and I don't know why, but in my head, I think I saw something different happening.
Okay, well, what did you have in mind?
We had to release Konshu and stuff from their statue, and obviously have to release Ammit from the statue. Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, how do they release them from a statue? Like, what do they have to do?
Yeah.
And there's this split second where he threw the statue on the floor, and I was like... Oh, that was a twist. Oh, no, that's... Okay, that is literally releasing them from the statue. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But it was just this little split second of, what the heck?
So you not... Yeah, I mean, it was funny because in shows like this, especially with Marvel, you can look at things and you really think. Like, you look at it, it's like, oh, okay, there's a ritual to lock them in, so there must be a ritual to get them out. No, you just smash the damn thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like, he's going to put it on something in front of him and start doing this chanting. Yeah. And it's going to crack open and the light's going to shine through the cracks and the character's going to appear. Nope. Just throw it on the floor.
Just
done.
smash
Okay,
it, and
cool.
yeah,
Yep.
out it comes. Basically, I'm at been locked away for 2,000 years. I think who has released me. Harrow's like, yeah, it's me. What up, babe?
Sup, bub? Yeah.
His scales are not balanced.
No.
And I did think to myself, what an intriguing thing. Like, Harrow has basically been a worshipper of Ammit, wielding this power in her name, and could potentially be the most unbalanced one. He's literally been ending lives for imbalance. And I did think to myself, what a interesting way of Ammit rocking up and showing how much of a badass she is she literally just kills him straight away.
On the spot, yeah. Whoa, yeah.
As like, those followers have been following him in her name. He has released her, and her straight away dead.
Yeah.
No,
You're not balanced. Goodbye.
Yeah, but instead she says, I once had an avatar who was perfectly balanced, and he betrayed me. Now, this whole balance thing, I think I need to address this, because basically we have discovered via this, Alexander the Great was her avatar that betrayed her. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, Alexander the Great, for all the great and all that stuff, he was a mass murdering bugger.
Yeah, like, there's definitely stories in history about that guy that aren't all of that, shall we say, balanced.
Yeah, we wouldn't necessarily... But does that mean what we're trying to claim in the MCU here is that particular avatar was balanced, and everyone he took out was imbalanced because of Ammit? And, and don't get me wrong, we're kind of like... We're looking at Ammit's judgment going, yeah, that's a bit ropey anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no black and white kind of
okay. It was very black and white. It's kind of like, there is no grey area. Basically, like, I've led a good life, I intend to be a good person. Yeah, but I can see into the future and there's a chance you might jaywalk, so, dead. What?
Yeah. Yeah, you're actually not going to stop and let a little old lady cross the road, so that's a cross.
At 75 years old, you forget to pay for something. Technically, that's shoplifting, so dead. But I'm only 12. No, it doesn't matter. 75, you're going to do that, dead. So, yeah, Ammit's a bit flawed in that regard. And so basically what we're saying is Alexander the Great was actually a good person, was actually balanced, wanted to live a good life, normal life, but became the avatar of Ammit and basically conquered most of the known world.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Alright, fair enough.
I think that is kind of the line we're going down.
Can't wait to see who Genghis Khan was the avatar for if we're going to go down this road.
God,
Anyway.
That was Konsu's last one.
Yeah. Do you know what, and this is a really, really abstract historical fact. Do you know they think the amount of people Genghis Khan killed actually prevented climate change by up to 10 years?
Jeez.
Yeah, he killed that many people that it stopped the impact. I mean, that's insane. And I don't think people should make that public, because you've got certain world leaders right now who would look at that and go, ooh, I could be a hero.
Yeah, I've stopped climate change. Why? Well, that half of the...
Well, you see that country over there? Yeah, it done. There no more. Well, it's there, but the people aren't. So, yeah, anyway, that was a sidetrack. So, Ammit is free. Ammit is out there. Now, aside to that, we got the lovely Layla. Layla's seen Marc get killed and seen Harrow leave like this scarab on his body as a kind of like, don't need this anymore. Later's
that was a heck of a thing, wasn't it? Just leaving it on his body like, meh, okay.
Yeah, well, he kind of took it off him, didn't he? It kind of felt like Harrow...
replacing what he had stolen.
Yeah, it was basically like trying to balance himself. Like, I didn't want to have to kill you, but I did have to. But, I took this off you. Now you can have it back.
Yeah.
I've used it. I don't need it anymore. So here you go. That way it was borrowed, not stolen. So, nice and balanced. But yeah, it was a strange scene, because you kind of looked at that and kind of thought to myself, well, is this a bit like Captain Jack Sparrow's compass, where it leads you to the thing you desire most? Or is it literally a device set up to take you to Ammit's tomb? Because Layla picks it up off him and it seems to point. Now, is it because it's tracking Ammit, or is it pointing after what you want? So I'd like to know where they go with that. That would be interesting to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Following Layla here, Layla tracks them to like a military checkpoint.
Yeah.
and so Layla stows away, covers her face, acting as if she's part of the...
I love that, yeah. I am part
tribe.
of you. No one recognises me because I've covered this little bit of my face and have a hood.
Yeah. It all works out. Yeah, absolutely perfect. Man, don't even, because I think that's legit now. I've seen...
To be fair, wasn't it after the Spider-Man movie?
Yeah.
The two of them went with sunglasses and a mask and went to watch the movie.
It's a thing. It is actually a thing. I think I would be oblivious myself. So Harrow a few times kind of does this look around. Harrow kind of like, it's like he senses it but can't see anyone. So
he
he's
can't
kind of
quite
like
place the wrong
he's like,
item.
I feel like someone's there. But anyway, they get stopped at this military checkpoint, and Harrow's kind of walking cane that he's had is now transformed into like one side of a jackal and the other basically at the head of an axe.
Yeah,
it's in essence a weapon now.
Yeah, you know how Thor went from Mjolnir to Stormbreaker?
Yeah.
This is his version, yeah. Kane's no good.
To an axe.
Have the axe.
Yeah, Kane to like this crazy mystical axe. It was it was badass, really.
I quite thought I did think, I was like, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, I know you're the bad guy and we should have liked
I know you're the bad guy, but that's cool. Yeah, we'll let you have that. He slams it down, and all of a sudden, these mercenaries that are all around him start, basically shaking, and like their souls are being ripped out of them, and they collapse. He's killed them, but he's done it by judging them. Yeah. So all of them that went, and there's one left standing who's got a balanced soul, and he goes to him and like embraces him like a brother. And it's like, oh, you can join us. You're balanced, and the guy seems sort of brainwashed by it. So I'm guessing the power of this not only takes away those it deems unbalanced, but has an impact on those that are.
He's like completely like, what the? Yeah, what?
Yeah, and he's now Team Ahmet, a heavily armed soldier, so that's helpful.
Yeah.
But the thing, like you said about you added his Towerettes, isn't that Towerettes? You added that character, and it gave us just that little bit of kind of, there's real dark stuff going on, but she added that little bit of levity, and here we go with the corpses reanimating as Taweret possesses them to talk to Layla.
Yeah.
I want to just give mad props to the dead soldier on the ground who clearly had to act as if he was being possessed whilst giving the body language of a sassy Egyptian god.
And dead at the same time. Yeah.
I want to give that guy mad props because it was a really funny scene.
Yeah, Layla, yo, over here, look at the dead guy. Hey!
Yeah, hey! And like strikes a pose almost, lying on the concrete. But yeah, you can see it's like, Mark says don't do it, you need to release, you need to get back and release Konshu.
Yeah.
And so she makes that decision, she looks at it, weighs it up, and she goes, and she does find Konshu, she does release Konshu, and Konshu wants her to become, or at least says, I cannot sense Mark Spector, because obviously Mark's dead.
Yep.
And he's like, right, I need you to become my avatar. And one of the things I've said to you throughout this whole series, which I've really enjoyed, is Layla at no point has needed anybody. That old trope of, the woman's a badass until she needs the man to come and save her. It's just vanished with the Layla character. And in this moment, again, like, rather than going down that same old tired trope of, I will never do this, and then, oh, do I have to? Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like, nope, I would do this by myself before I let you do that.
Yeah, I can just, just for a little bit, maybe just a little... No.
Nope.
No. I have seen what you've done to the last guy. I'm good.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that a lot. I like the fact that, because it makes this character very interesting. The fact that Konshu doesn't appear to be, you do these universal good. He doesn't appear to be that at all. Chaotic with trying to do good, but generally just chaos happening.
Yeah.
He's a strange one, but he is powerful. And whilst this is happening, she's released him. We actually, this is probably the only scene in this where I kind of just went, what? And that is where Harrow marches his ass into the Great Pyramid, and you've got all the avatars of the other gods, Osiris, etc., and basically he just nails them within seconds.
Yeah, for gods and avatars,
Yeah,
they make Mark look even more badass because he actually survives an attack. These guys just die really quick.
yeah. I'm looking at this, and I am just thinking to myself, that just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it seems strange. If you're going to kind of introduce characters that are kind of like this powerful and important, if you're going to kill them all off really quickly, it just seems a bit of a strange kind of...
Like,
they should have put up more of a fight, at least.
like for me, if Ammit had gone in there and wrecked them, you'd kind of go, badass god versus, council gods.
Truly god.
Basically, it was a warrior versus a group of members of parliament. There was only one winner here.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I get it. But this is Harrow. This is a guy. He's wielding clearly a very powerful weapon in this ilk. But still, it just felt very... I don't know, it felt so sudden. I know they've only got so much time and you can only do so much, but it just felt very... blink and you miss it and they're all gone.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one. Like I say, I would have liked to have seen them put up more of a fight, or to at least have seen the actual gods instead of just the avatars. Maybe the gods come from the avatars, like we see Konshu next to him, and like we see Ammit and stuff. Maybe just to have appeared a little bit.
Also, you see that there's the bit with Tara. It says Tara is trying to talk Layla into becoming Taret's avatar.
Yeah.
And Taret says to her, like, oh, you should see my suit. It's beautiful. And I'm kind of like, okay, so Moon Knight, his armor's badass. You see that and the interpretation of that. Tara is basically saying to Layla, like, come on, be my avatar because my suit is badass.
Yeah. Where are the other people's suits?
Yeah. Was that it? Did that guy... Nice button-down three-piece, the lady with the business suit.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we know that Steven's version is Mr. Knight, not Moon Knight and stuff.
Yeah.
However, I feel like Bank Teller is not the avatar you're going to really want.
No, I'm with you.
My suit's amazing. Oh my god, really? Yeah, here you go. Oh, you literally meant it's made of three-piece suit. Okay.
Yeah, what powers do I have? You look good, my friend. Yeah. You look svelte.
You look svelte?
Okay.
Yeah, and you can do multiplication very quickly now because you're smart in a suit. Yeah.
I like that. I like the idea that basically you put on those particular gods and their avatars are just good at math.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got an amazing vocabulary now. Oh, excellent, yeah.
You can speak 4 languages. Now you can. Yeah.
So with that confrontation, Konshu then goes up against Ammit. Konshu's on his own. He doesn't have an avatar. Ammit appears to get the upper hand after a few good
Ammit appears
digs.
to not need an avatar.
Yeah.
And that's a scary looking god. Can we just point that out as well? The whole crocodile woman.
Whoa. But sorry, I do need to say she does. Harrow becomes her avatar.
Yes.
That happens, and there is this confrontation between them in the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid's getting all messed up. The followers leave, and we see that Layla basically agrees with Taret to become Taret's avatar on Earth.
Which I love this. It's like Konshu's like, look what I can do. You know what Moon Knight can do. Be mine. Yeah. She's like, no bloody chance.
No chance.
But the sassy hippo, she's like, girl power.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it on. And she does. And by the way, the suit is badass. Taret was not lying. But you have this funny scene where basically everything's kind of like earth shaking, there's rubble landing, and she's kind of talking to herself a la Stephen and Mark, where she's transitioning between Taret speaking through her and her then replying as her.
Yeah.
As an actor, that must have been both hell and fun to do, I'd imagine. But the thing I think I loved about it was she manages to really capture again that sassy kind of, oh, hello, and like doing an over dramatic bow, kind of, it's so nice to be you.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good fun, and then you do get the armor reveal, which is very badass.
The Scarlet Scarab.
We'll come to that.
Yeah.
I want to come to that in a bit. But so she does get the armor reveal, which is very cool. But whilst this is going on, and I said like Konshu's getting his ass kicked by, Amet's getting on top. We do now. The gates have been opened by Osiris, like we said earlier on, and Marc wakes back up on Earth.
Yeah.
And Konshu senses him.
Yes.
And goes straight to him, and then we have this kind of strange montage moment where Marc and Steven are kind of seeing different things, like like we had that sequence before with the memories and thing, and they're kind of seeing all these different snippets.
Yeah.
And you get that voiceover again from Konshu about rise and become my Moon Knight, like do you choose life or what do you choose?
Yeah.
And Marc does suit up. The suit up scene, by the way, I think is my favorite in this series.
They are cool,
and we've seen a few very cool ones, but this one, it just it really added something. It was really badass.
Yeah.
But I think the thing I liked the most was they do this big suit up scene. It's Marc, it's Moon Knight. Him and Konshu are talking like, okay, what are we gonna do? And then it just transitions seamlessly to Mr. Knight and Steven, and Steven's like, now right, you.
Yeah.
You don't go thinking we're just back to the way things were before. And Konshu again's like, oh, go away, worm. It's like, no, we are a team now. It's a package deal, and we're not just doing what you say unless we do a new deal.
I love that. It's like, you really want to negotiate. Like, have you seen what's happening behind me? And now you want to sit there and make a deal.
Personally, that's always the best time to negotiate, when the other person's been backed into a corner. Yeah. But
it's very British. Very British, Stephen.
Yeah, well, and Stephen, wait until they're on their knees, and then you offer them a hand up, but for £20.
Yes.
It's UK government. But so it is. Yeah, it's fun. See, and I also love the whole kind of like Konshu's going to launch him through the air. And so he gets him ready, and then Stephen looks up, realises what's going to happen. He goes, Marc, I think you got this one, mate.
I love it. There's a couple of times in this now where we get that, and it's just like, Stephen's going to do something cool. And then he's like, no, Marc,
no.
Tap in, please.
Yeah, Marc, you do the scary bit. I'll just do the other bits, yeah.
It's kind of like if he had to have, like, the badass go and kick everyone's ass and then do like a press conference afterwards. Stephen's like, I'll talk to the people, you kill the people.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, and so they go off, and then we have what I would say is kind of a really crazy fight sequence where Moon Knight goes up against Harrow. And by the way, he lands what can only be described as a knee uppercut. Which was awesome. And whilst the avatars are fighting, we also have the giant gods fighting.
Yeah, now, just going to ask about this. The giant gods are there, and they are kicking 7 shades of each other.
Yeah.
Are the only people that can see that the avatar people?
Well, this is a good discussion, because previously in the series, it was revealed that the regular people couldn't see any of this.
Yeah.
So there was a scene where Steven was being attacked and Layla by the taxi, and Layla, I think, threw something which revealed it.
Yeah, she threw water over him, and it kind of had a bit of an outline. We were like, oh, that's cool. But he was getting his head, he looked like he was headbutting a bus and stuff. Yeah, it looked very different.
So, I genuinely don't know if the people in Cairo, Egypt, whoever is there, could actually see that happening, or if they're just aware of some massive thundering around, the ground shaking, what the hell's going on.
Yeah, because I mean, they weren't exactly tiptoeing. They were throwing each other into pyramids and stuff. And I'm like, surely someone's hearing this, if not feeling the earth shake as well.
Yeah, massively, yeah. And there is definitely several scenes where people are just looking up into the sky and into the distance, and you're kind of like, well, are you watching this fight? Or, because like me, I'd look at that and go, nope, and get the hell out of there. But this is the MCU world, where half those people were snapped away for 5 years. Giant celestials come bursting out of the planet's core every other week, so maybe it's just like, oh, bloody hell, Tuesday. You just
Great,
carry
now
on.
We've got gods fighting. Oh
yeah. But we do have this scene in this city now. So the fight between the avatars, Harrow and him, comes into the city, and we actually see the followers of Harrow basically acting like the real world is Twitter. I think one of them shouts, "Judge everybody!"
Yeah.
And so we start seeing loads of people having their souls like imbalanced and being ripped out, which is messed up. And we also see that seems to feed Amet.
Yeah,
it
that
makes
was
Amet
interesting.
bigger and more powerful. Up to this point, we'd never really had that. You know, it hadn't mentioned it. It was just kind of like, oh, Amet's the person that comes along and judges. But then, in the mythology, Amet devours the souls of the unworthy.
Yeah, and the way they do it, and kind of like she's taking all the souls in and growing bigger and bigger. And I'm like, well, I mean, this makes the Hulk out look like, nothing.
yeah, big time, yeah. Like, devouring the souls of the unworthy. Clearly, this is why she deems so many people unworthy. If she becomes more powerful, the more she devours.
Yeah, this whole, in 75 years, you're going to take something out of the shop as shoplifting.
Yeah.
You can see why she's making these calls now.
Yeah, definitely. You once considered jaywalking, considering it was a biblical offence. What? Yeah, and you're dead now.
Yeah, my little toe hurts. I need to heal it. You're dead.
Yeah. Go on. Goodbye. So we see this Avatar fight, like I said, is badass, really. Real good stuff going on. And then you see Harrow's getting the upper hand, and then Layla comes in, and this is, as you say, the Scarlet Scarab.
Yeah.
The Scarlet Scarab does have a history in Marvel Comics. I did a little bit of reading earlier on. So the Scarlet Scarab character originated in the pages of Marvel Comics, specifically in the Invaders issue 23, 1977.
Oh, wow.
During World War II, an Egyptian warrior named Abdul Faul is granted superhuman powers from an ancient artifact called the Ruby Scarab, becoming the first ever Scarlet Scarab, protector of Egypt. So that was the comic book version of this character. We have now obviously seen the MCU version of the character born, and that is Layla, who has become the Scarlet Scarab, the avatar of Tauret, and that's badass. And we do get a really nice moment, and I think, like, me and you talk about this a lot, like, me and you, there's so many characters in this for me and you.
Yeah.
Like, so many characters. And we have a nice little moment where a young girl turns to her and says, "Oh, are you an Egyptian superhero?"
She's like, "Yeah."
And I like the fact she sort of paused for a moment. Yes, I am. And it's kind of like, that's amazing. And it'd be interesting to see, because the bit of the reading I did was around the comic books. Basically, the Scarlet Scarab was just purely in Egypt. Like, all these big team-up events and all these things, like big global threats, Scarlet Scarab is just like, nope. I look after Egypt, you lot can go away.
Yeah, if it happens on my land, I'll be there. But otherwise, and don't bring it here, because I'll be pissed.
Yeah, do not bring it here, yeah. So I do wonder about that. I do wonder if perhaps that way this character has been introduced, and perhaps this character, there is a future in projects and things. Like, if we're ever watching anything and like, oh, we're going to have to go to Egypt to look for this, you're going to be like, ooh, I know who's in Egypt.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I like that. I like the fact that they brought this character in. I like the fact the character was a badass in her own right and does kick some ass during this final scene.
Yeah.
And we see another fun scene. Mr. Knight talking to her, Stephen, like, oh, check out what I can do. And Stephen does kick some ass.
Yeah. It's like he now fully believes that he can actually do this.
And funny, I've seen a few people talk about this, and it's not something I'd pick up on because I never read the Moon Knight comic, so I have no frame of reference. But apparently his fighting style in this end is Mr. Knight. It's perfect. Everyone are just blown away by it. They're absolutely thrilled with the way it was done. So yeah, if you're a big fan of that comic, it would appear that this fight sequence was like a hug for you, that whole thing. There's also a lot of transitions between Moon Knight and Mr. Knight, which are great. It goes to show the two of them are kind of fighting and
working together, not against each other now.
Yeah, and that's fun as well. It's another part to this character that's really interesting. like you said earlier on about, Stephen, all right, I'll talk to people, you beat him up. Well, Stephen's throwing some hands now as well. I still wouldn't trust Mark to negotiate anything, but it's fun to go. There's that one scene where he throws something at Harrow knocks it and it boomerangs back and it's caught by Mark. That was good.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, so this fight's going on. Now Harrow does start to get the upper hand. Layla's kind of pinned by a group of Harrow's followers.
Yeah, this bit makes me chuckle just a little bit.
Okay, give me
So
give me
this
your
is
chuckles.
just like one of these little things that I watch, and it's almost one of those like facepalm, bad guy sort of thing. Okay?
Yeah.
So Layla is pinned to the bottom of a car. Moon Knight throws one of his boomerangs, he ends up catching her, and he like pins her to the van. You're like, oh no, she's in trouble.
Yeah.
And then she kind of covers herself with that wing.
Yeah.
And there's a guy there shooting point blank range at her.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean, like the typical bad guy thing is, if he'd have just stopped shooting for a second and gone, oh, her legs are there. Like, she's covering the main part of her, but it's just one of those typical things of like, he could have shot her anywhere but the wing. And typical bad guy, I'm just going to go and shoot as much as I can.
Well, again, it's
typical bad guy, but it was just one of those things that just made me chuckle. Almost as much as how easily she gets the boomerang out after the fighting's finished. I think she stays there on purpose.
Yeah.
She's like, yep, Mark's got this covered. I'm good. I'm just going to stay here.
I mean, the way it's portrayed is obviously she's caught in that. And the thing is with this is it slows down. I think we're looking at perhaps seconds passing, if you know what I mean, but it kind of slows it down so you can like really take in the moment, and you're sort of thinking to yourself, okay, how, what's going to happen.
Yep.
And then we have that shudder, which we've had before, which is where Mark blacks out, or Stephen blacks out, and then he comes back and he's got Harrow by the throat. He's holding Harrow's weapon to his head.
Yeah.
Everything around them is wrecked. Like, I mean, there's fires that weren't there before. There's a building behind them which has been destroyed, which was fine before. Bodies everywhere. Layla looking freaked out.
Layla's like really, what just happened?
Yeah, what just happened? Mark's like, Stephen, did you? And he's like, no, mate, I could never. What the...
Yeah.
And we're all watching. We're like, okay, so that was Jake. That was the third. That was, what the hell, man?
We've already seen this scene once before, and we were all like, that must have been Jake. Surely, for the kid that was there to be that scared, and everyone being that scared of it was like, that must have been Jake. And then this again, and we're like, now we're sitting here going, that's definitely, that was 100%.
That's definitely.
And then you kind of take that one bit of go, but wait a second. Look at the carnage.
That was. I mean, what is interesting as well is how many films, TV shows can you think of where you can watch it and be like, that was amazing, but actually they cut the fight scene.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they second time again, they don't show you anything.
No,
but
they literally
like,
cut. But they cut the big part. You're like, Harrow's winning.
Yeah. You
literally cut the part where our hero gets the upper hand on the bad guy. I can't think of any film I've ever watched where if that happened, I'd feel any form of satisfaction from it, because that's what everything's building towards. This is what 6 episodes are built towards.
Yeah.
And yet we don't see it. It's taken from us, but because of the way the show is and the character, it's kind of like, that was awesome.
Yeah, instead of being amazing. Like, what? No! Yeah. If it had been, like, so say again, Marvel shows, so if that had been The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we're building up to that big fight scene at the end, and we know it's coming, and then the next scene is Bucky and Sam sat there going, oh, well, I'm glad we've done that now, because that should save everyone. And you'd be like, what
literally,
the heck?
You're like, what the hell? Yeah, there's any other scene at all, like Avengers Endgame, and they're all just there, oh, Thanos is here, and then it just cuts, and then you got, whew, that was close.
Yeah, Celebration Day.
What?
It's Avengers Day. They saved us. Wow.
Yeah, but how did they save us? Who cares?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's part of me was just like, oh wow, that's so unique, and it's kind of great that it's so unique, and it was good. But they then learn, or Toweret tells them, it's not Toweret, sorry, it's like one of the the other gods via their sort of half-dead avatars tell them, look, to get rid of Ammit, you have to imprison Ammit in the avatar. So in stone won't work now. You need to imprison it in a human, and then vulnerable. Ammit's then vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because human life, can be taken.
Yeah.
So they perform a ritual to imprison Ammit inside of Harrow. It works, and Moon Knight, Konshu, who was probably losing at that point, then shows up and says, kill him. And Mark's all about to do it. Konshu again, like, do it! And Mark and Steven say no.
Yeah, they're kind of like, you sound very much like them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they decide that no, Harrow gets to go live out his life in an asylum and or prison. You don't,
semi-ironically, yeah.
Yeah, you do not control me anymore. Basically demand to be released, and Konshu says fine and leaves. And then we...
At that moment, I'm thinking to myself, okay, 6-part series, that is the end. We've kind of managed to show the full kind of, this is how it all started, and this is why, and this is what happened in the middle, and now he's left. And I'm like, oh, okay.
And we get another asylum scene with Mark Stevens speaking to Dr. Harrow.
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't know how to take this scene, really. Because it's almost like a kind of, you're closing out all of the different aspects that we've seen in the show, and this asylum aspect was clearly something in their head, like a construct, and this scene allowed you to see that they now see themselves as whole, they now see themselves as being okay, and they basically see Harrow as this broken guy walking around with blood coming out of his feet because of the glass. And they see like blood footprints, and they see him for what he is. Yeah. And, you get that line, don't you? No, we're going to go save the world later.
Yeah, why am I bleeding? Yeah, we don't think you know as much as you think you do.
Yeah. So then we see them back chained to the bed again and collapsing on the floor.
Now, this one bit confused me a little bit. Because we've seen kind of what's happened with Layla's character.
Yeah.
And like you say, we're led to believe that she's the Scarlet Scarab now.
Yeah.
She is like the protector of Egypt.
Yeah.
Mark, very much in love with her.
Yeah.
But they're back in London at Stephen's apartment. And I was a bit like, that's not where I saw this ending.
With two fish.
Two fish now, yeah.
I was not sure on that. And I have a bit of a wild theory, which I'll come back to, because I think what I'd like to do is discuss the end scene. Yep. So we do have an after credit scene.
Do we?
Yeah. The after credit scene, we see Harrow now is in the asylum, the real Harrow one, in the real asylum, and he is not mentally very well. And we see a nurse is coming to give him some medication, and then we see someone, we don't get to see who it is, we just hear him speak, some subtitle, I think, speaking in Spanish. Basically says, I got this one. Wheels him outside.
Yeah.
Wheels him into a car, and in the back of the car is Konshu.
In a suit.
Looking rather dapper.
Yeah.
And Konshu's like, Harrow... Mark Spector believed I wanted his wife to be my next avatar, and I don't know why anyone would ever think that when Mark has no idea just how truly broken he is.
Yeah.
Arthur, meet Jake Lockley. And with that, Jake, with the hat on, which is comic accurate, turns round
and shoots him. Yeah.
And just shoots him.
Because it's like, you can't kill me, you can't do anything. Ha ha. And he's like, I don't need to. Bitch, I got this guy.
Yeah. And then just drives off.
Yeah.
So we do get confirmation of the third personality. We do get that. We've guessed it for weeks and weeks and weeks. We get it, but we get it in an after credit, and that's it. It's done. We're done. But we know.
And there's no Jake Lockley will return or Konshu will return. Nothing.
But we know that Moon Knight still exists because Konshu's still there. Now, my theory then, which is a bit bad, okay?
Okay.
When we started watching this show, we were introduced to Stephen, and then we realised about Mark and how Mark kept Stephen unaware of his existence.
Yep.
What if, with Konshu's help, Jake is doing that to Mark, who in turn was doing that to Stephen? So in essence, Mark and Stephen don't know about Jake, and the reason why they're back in that apartment, chained to the bed, all these things with the two fish stuff, is because Jake and Konshu are doing that now.
Quite possible. Very possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, because there's part of me was like, oh, Konshu, you bastard. Like, you've let them go free, but you're actually still controlling everything.
Yep.
The other part of me is, surely the two of them, they're now working together. So Mark and Stephen, I mean, they're now working together.
Yep.
But when or where are the blackouts going to happen? Because when they fight, the fight scene, for example, and Mark and Stephen are like, was that you? No. Was that you? No. Is there going to be more scenes now where it's kind of like, wait a minute?
I think the two of them are clearly going to work it out, and are clearly going to have to explore that. I mean, how was Jake created? We've seen how Stephen was. I mean, it stands to reason, if Mark created a Stephen in that scenario to protect some sort of normality, to have this kind of peaceful life, maybe at that point, without knowing, Jake was created. You know, the anger, all of that hatred.
That's what I'm wondering.
Of that situation, you know, it's kind of like the yin yang kind of scenario of balance.
Yeah, no, exactly that. I think that if Stephen was made to keep everything safe and kind, then that means that he suppressed a lot of his anger. Yeah. And whilst a lot of people are probably thinking, yeah, well, look at how Mark was the mercenary out killing people. Yeah, he still showed in that room of zombies.
Yeah, he didn't want to be doing that. You know, he was very remorseful. You know, I think he even says a line like, you know, whoever kills someone, do you kill his peers? Like, I remember all of them.
Whereas, does that then mean that the actual anger and everything that he held inside had to go somewhere, and it's actually manifested into Jake? Yeah. I'm still like, there was that scene, wasn't there, in the asylum where they're running through, and the third sarcophagus. You say the word for me?
The sarcophagus.
That's the word. The third one of those was shaking, and Mark looks at it and goes, nope, and walks past it.
Well, see, I did think to myself of like, why wouldn't you explore that? You've just opened one and it was Stephen. Surely if you then see the other one, you'd think, well, who's in there then?
What could that one be? Yeah.
Which did make me think that Mark was like, oh, I know who's in there.
Yeah, I'm not going there.
Yeah, I don't want to face it. And perhaps if we were to get more, if they were to say, right, you know, we are going to get a season 2, perhaps that would be the storyline. It kind of feels like this show was set up in a kind of, this character could appear again, or it might not. Or this character, you could have a season 2 easily with so many storylines, or perhaps, you know, there's a lot there that could continue. Or it could just be the one and done, and you could still walk away from it and go, okay, that was a good show.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. I wonder how the character of Mark and Stephen / Jake and Konshu would work with other characters. Yeah. Because all the other characters are very kind of like one-dimensional. You kind of, that is them, you know. Tony Stark was Iron Man. Steve Rogers was Captain America. Yeah. This is Mark and Stephen are Mark and Stephen. However, Jake is Konshu. Yeah. How would that work with other characters? Would other characters from the MCU, be it the Disney Plus shows or the movies, would they interact with Mark and Stephen, or would they interact with Jake?
No idea.
If they were to interact with Jake, but then bump into Mark and Stephen, would that then blow Jake's entire cover? Because if I don't know, let's say She-Hulk's coming up. Yeah. So the character of She-Hulk ends up fighting a fight, and Jake comes and helps her as Moon Knight. And then, I don't know, a couple of episodes later, she bumps into Stephen, who's working at the museum. Yeah. He's like, hey, Jake, how are you? And he's like,
thanks for the assist.
Yeah, he's like, who the heck are you talking about? And then Mark's there going, wait, who's Jake? Hold up.
I did see someone say that they'd love it if Moon Knight was to appear alongside Spider-Man, and basically Mark as Moon Knight's like, okay, whatever, and then it changed to Steve, and it's like, oh, hey, Peter. Oh, like, you know who I am. It's like, yeah, of course I do. Why wouldn't I know who you are? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's no established canon in the MCU for them to have ever interacted, so sadly that wouldn't be the case. But
it would be fun,
I did
though.
think to myself that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, everyone on Earth forgot about him, but at that moment in time, he was Mark, not Stephen, so therefore...
Stephen, exactly. The other one knew.
Right, Peter, I'm Stephen.
But yeah, I mean... As a show, really enjoyable. I think from start to finish, it was intriguing. I think one of the problems that the MCU has, and it's not really a problem, but it's a problem created by fans, is that there is such an expectation and theory level now that you can go into things like the shows, like each episode, or even the movies, with an idea in your brain of what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And then when you don't get that, it's kind of like, oh, well, that's disappointing. And it's not that the product's bad. It's not that the ending's disappointing. It just wasn't what you'd created in your own mind.
Yes.
And I think that they have that. It is a problem, and I don't know how you address it, because at the same time, the rampant theorying is kind of fun. It's part of the fandom. It's a massive part, and
I think
must save them a fortune in marketing.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, that is okay. Again, we are spoiler-free, don't panic, but you look at the Doctor Strange movie. You had 6 months of just content creators everywhere. Yeah. I think this character is going to show up, this is why. I think this character is going to show up, this is why. I think this character is going to show up, and I think this person is going to play that character, and this is why.
Yeah.
Whereas in the mini-shows, it's more a case of, WandaVision, we had everyone knew who the bad guy was going to be. Nope, Agatha all along.
Yeah, and then when it wasn't that, people were generally disappointed. Oh, man, the show sucks. No, it doesn't.
You even showed us flies flying around. Everyone knows that's a sign of the bad guy. And then,
Paul Bettany was going to work with somebody he'd always worked on. People were like, oh, it's going to be Robert De Niro or Harvey Keitel. No, it was himself.
Yeah.
Absolute bants, to be honest with you.
It was amazing. But each show's kind of had that to an extent. Each show's had that, who's going to be the real big bad guy in Winter Soldier? It's Carter.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, and so like you said, I think they do have to battle that a little bit, but let's try as best we can to enjoy the theories and stuff like that, but don't create them as head canon. That term where it's basically like you've decided in your head that's what it is. So from this point on, that is what it is.
Yeah, for me, I have to hold my hands up. I had the end of Hawkeye. Yeah. I was absolutely convinced that last bit of Hawkeye, we were going to see Spider-Man swing past.
Yeah,
because the end of the film showed that square at Christmas time. There was an ice rink, and in my head, I was like, "This is going to be amazing." He's just going to swing past or something, like the top right corner of the screen or something. You're going to see it. You're like, "Oh my god, that was it!" It never happened.
There are a number of articles currently where it would appear that a lot of cameos planned are being cut. They've basically made the decision that they don't want to just be that, and they felt they were in danger of becoming people watching these things looking for cameos rather than enjoying the film or enjoying the show. Because apparently Spider-Man was originally planned to be in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And there's a load of others. Like I read it recently. It was an interview with Kevin Feige. So there's a lot. There's a lot there. The Eternals were meant to be in this, for example, and a few other things. So there's a lot of stuff out there where they've looked at it and they've gone, actually, no, let's try and introduce these characters on their own back.
Yep.
Their own merits, give them time, give them a chance to breathe, and then team ups can happen when they happen.
Yeah, see, something like Hawkeye, the cameos could have worked because we all knew who Hawkeye is. Yeah. Something like Moon Knight, and again She-Hulk. Like there are rumours in She-Hulk that we're going to see Matt Murdock appear and Jessica Jones appear, and I think that would work purely because they are 3 new characters to this.
Yeah.
And we're all interested to see how they bring these old characters that Netflix had into this universe. Whereas actually, if they had She-Hulk, but they dropped in one of the Eternals or something like that, I think that would throw it off, because you're like, well, wait a minute. These are new guys. Let the new guys have the limelight. You know?
Yeah, and that's kind of...
Let us build a relationship with these new characters, instead of show us new characters but make us go...
And then go, oh, look, it's so-and-so. Yeah. So, but really enjoyed it. I'd love to see the character again, and I think Oscar Isaac was incredible. So good. And apparently there's a cut scene where Oscar Isaac confronts his mother in like one of these visions.
Oh.
And the director said, I'm devastated it was cut. I hope everyone eventually gets to see it because it's Oscar worthy.
Oh, wow.
And given how, watching this series, how many times I've been blown away by him in it, I genuinely could believe it would be at a level that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Oh, yeah. No, like I say, Oscar Isaac has gone from a person who I knew of but didn't know
to now
I'm like, this guy is incredible.
I'm with you. He's someone I've seen in a number of things, and he's sort of been there. I think the most high-profile thing, he was Poe Dameron in Star Wars, where, to be frank, in my humble opinion, the writing wasn't up to a good level. But I've seen him as Apocalypse in X-Men. So I've seen him in these high-profile things, but never really seen him be given the opportunity. And I know he's been in other stuff, and a lot of people have pointed me towards him going, he's incredible in this, and I'm like, yeah, that's not my kind of film. So I've not seen it, but now I'm kind of like, I would look for what he does next. I would be interested to see him in other things, because I'm a fan now. Definitely. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of the Moon Knight Mondays, Marvel Mondays, here on our podcast. Delighted to say there will be another show next Monday from Marvel Monday, because we are going to be talking about Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse, Multiverse of Madness, sorry. It's Doctor Strange 2. We've both seen it. It's in the cinemas now, so we will issue a very heavy spoiler warning for that show. Obviously, if you've not seen the film yet, save it and then come back to it when you have. We'll write that several times. Anyone who's got the show subscribed, etc., and it will download, just make sure you don't do it. But we'll do a silly introduction where we're chatting for a while anyway, but keep an eye out for that. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead Wednesdays continue with the next episode of Fear the Walking Dead out now. We'll be talking about that this Wednesday. So many things coming. Stranger Sundays is now a thing on our podcast as we talk about Stranger Things.
Yeah, it is.
My daughter has made her podcast debut because she is addicted to that show and was obsessed with getting me to watch it. And yeah, so she has joined me for a podcast. So if you're interested in hearing how my daughter sounds, which is nothing like me, every Sunday we're going to do a recap of each season. So the season 1 recap is out now. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts and our website, The Archive. Next Sunday's the season 2 recap, the following season 3, and then season 4 drops on Friday the 27th of May.
Not long.
Friday the 27th of May, you get season 4 part A of Stranger Things on Netflix, but also episodes 1 and 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney+.
I know it's one I'm more excited for.
so that night is going to be crazy for viewing.
Of course, Stranger Things is Netflix, isn't it? So it's kind of like, here, have 8 episodes at once. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's going to be crazy. So from a podcast point of view, there's a lot of content coming up. We hope you'll join us for all of that. We'll be... Well, I'm loving it. I get to talk about the things I enjoy, so... This is a fun hobby to have. Yeah. Everyone, you take care. We'll be back real soon. As I said, if you're just listening to us for Marvel, next Monday it's Doctor Strange 2. If you're listening to us for all the other stuff, keep an eye out for notifications. Keep an eye on our social media. We're turning the Facebook page into a bit of a news hub for all movies, TV news. Also, check us out on TikTok. You'll find us doing lots of silly memes and content there. Instagram is rolling again. Twitter, I occasionally say a sarcastic comment. But until then, everyone, you take care.
Laters, Gators.
Mark Spector truly believed that after he and I parted ways, I wanted his wife when I ever need anybody else. When he has no idea how troubled he truly is. Meet my friend, Jake Lockley.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.